Okay, so after we've fitted the 9th plank, we can now pretty much turn this over and start to just plank it into the keel and into the stern. Okay, so now we're going to plank from this section into the stern, but also from the keel into the stern. So we'll end up looking something like that. Then we obviously add steel planks in a little bit later on. The first we're going to do, we're going to put this plank right up against the keel. I'm going to bring it all the way down. It pretty much comes to the stern. And we're just going to mark it just past the last rib, or against the stern. I'm just going to cut that with a 45-degree angle. So to cut these 45-degree angles, you can 2 ways quite easily cut them. I'll use a bit of scrap. Quite easy to cut them with your knife. It's quite soft, so it's quite easy to do. If you want to be a bit more precise, you can cut them on your miter block as well. And you get a nice 45-degree angle. Okay, so once you've put the 45-degree angle on that, we should then just be able to kind of butt it up to the keel, and then we can just glue and nail that in place. But if you want to get a really more incredibly tight fit, then just put that chamfer on the outer edge. Many ways of doing this, but I found actually it's probably easier to put your sanding block on the table and then angle your plank around about 5 degrees, then put the chamfer on that way. Okay, so once you put that chamfer on that plank, we can now just fit it. And all we do then is just put a pin over every rib. Okay, so once you've got the first planking against the keel, now I'm going to get a full length. I'm just going to use this. It's a bit of a guide just to start with. And all I'm going to do is just bring in, I've not cut the end off yet, I've not cut 45 degrees in. All I'm going to do is just push it along until it stops on the first plank we fitted and on the last plank we fitted in the last video. And then I'm just going to take it along the keel plate. I'm just going to put a couple of temporary tacks in. And these are just temporary. Okay, so now I'm just going to add this next plank in to the one we fitted to the keel. And just what I'm going to use this time is just from the scrap planks that we've cut from previous planks we've added. Just take one of them lengths, obviously just get one that's hopefully long enough to the part you need. And just cut the 45 degrees in. And all I'm going to do this time is just push that in against the permanently fitted one and against the temporary one that we just fitted. Okay, so if you want to be adventurous, you can put your steel plank straight in, but like I say, on this side I've left that in because I'll show you how to fit these steel planks a little bit later on. So in the instructions they're just showing you to cut that square, then fit a tiny little piece in later. That's quite tricky little weak joint, I actually think. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to cut this in. I'm just going to mark it pretty much just following that line and that MDF keel block. I'll take it out, find the line we've just cut in, and then just until you're happy, and push that back on. That's a nice tight fit. So all we do, like we did before, just glue and pin this into every one of the ribs. Okay, so for the next plank along, you do it exactly the same. Just put the 45-degree angle on, and you put it up against the second plank we fitted to the keel. Then you just push it in. You really want to try and get it over the middle of that rib. And then I'll do the same again like I did with the first one. Is just mark that angle on. That's just going to be same again, glued and pinned like the previous two. So after fitting the third plank, we've now got another one, and like I say, they're just slightly getting smaller every time. So I say we're going to cut that with a 45-degree angle, the angle that fits the keel plate, and then that's just going to get pushed in there, pushed up until it's flush with the keel, and then just pinned in place. Okay, so that one gets filled with a steel plank. After that one gets filled with a steel plank, same again, all these are steel planks all the way down. So the next major one is a full plank you need to fit, which is pretty much the 10th plank down. Okay, so now we're just fitted in that small 4th plank from the keel. We're now going to turn his attention back to the 10th plank from the ones we fitted previously. So this time we only need a short plank, so where we've been using the joins before, we just need one there with the 45-degree angle on, and we need to take it to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th rib from the stern. I need to cut that as well. So don't worry about that 10th plank, still that's coming off in a second. So like I say, this one now only covers actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planks. And same again, because it's a 10th plank down, we need to add the chamfer to the bottom. So like before, this one can be glued and tacked in place. Okay, so after just fitting that plank in, it's only a smaller plank. What we've really got to do now is just fill in this gap there for the 11th plank, and then permanently cut and fit this top plank. So same again, we've got one of these almost a full length plank, and I've got the 45-degree end on, and this wants to be kind of pushed between that gap there, and hopefully it should finish around about the middle of the 4th rib. So this is when you kind of know that hopefully if you've planked everything right, everything should start to line up quite nice. Then we want it to finish right between the middle, almost the middle, just stepping it back one from the plank we fitted forward, just so then we don't have any joins on the same position. So all we need to do is, like we've done before, is just glue and tack this in place. So on these sections where we're filling in this false keel, where we put them keel reinforcements in, it's quite good because you're painting quite a lot of glue. So same again, I'm just going to slide this one in, and making sure that half of the 45 is over the 4th rib. And it should just fit nicely between the 6th rib, between the planks, the temporary plank and the plank we just fitted. And we can start to pin it and tack it. So I'm going to pin it first on the first 5 ribs, and then I'm going to remove that temporary plank just above it. Okay, so now that one's been pinned for the first 5 sections, it still needs to be pinned there, but it's easy just to get rid of this temporary plank for now, just so we can get a nice joint, so it's all nice and bought up. So it shows you, I mean, these are not even being glued down 100%, so it just shows you how strong these joints are. So that's actually just been attached by a little bit of glue that's seeped under from different planks being attached. Okay, so now I remove that temporary plank, I can just get into this one and press it down a bit nicer and a bit truer. Just going to put my chisel in there and just act as a wedge, just to drive that plank down. So if you have any glue oozing out, just use a damp sponge and just take a little bit of the excess off. Okay, so somewhere along the way on this, when I fitted this first plank, that was probably around about 1/4 mil, just slightly out, and it's obviously all the planks have been pushed up against. When we've actually got to this one, we've actually left us a gap around about, let's say, 1/4 mil. These deck planks are around about 1/4 mil. That pretty much fills that gap. So it's just pretty much over the entire construction of the boat. That's the only main gap I've got. So if you get to that stage and you've got a little 1/4 mil gap on one section, so I could force it down, but then that's just putting a natural bend on that. So I'm just going to leave that one as it is, and then a little bit later on I'll just get one of these little 1/4 mil thickness planks and just cut it and just fill it into there that way. Okay, so about to fit this last plank, which is the last real full-size plank, and this is in the position where the temporary plank was when we first started the video. So the good thing is with this one now, we should just run in between all these little slots all the way to the stern. So say we've got a 45° on this end, and we're going to push it in and then just push it up until it can't really go no more, and it should be quite in line with the one from the port side, and then just push them in between all these gaps. So this one can't actually, once it gets to about there, it can't actually get a full width in, so we need to slightly taper this one down. And on this one, like I did with my port side one, I had it finishing around about the middle of that 12th rib. So what we need to do is kind of from there where it stops actually getting a full plank in, we need to taper this one down into this curve. Okay, so now it's cut to length. I kind of mark it where I think it's going to level with that keel, so I think it's going to drop in Just there. Well, this one is probably best to take off a little bit of time and then just keep sanding it until it fits into place. So then just get your ruler, put another spare plank at the side of it. That just stops your ruler from falling over, leaning over too much. In fact, 2 planks is probably better. And then just line up your 2 marks with your ruler and then just score it with your knife. And then with your sandpaper, just kind of sanding that chamfer. So I'm going to put it back in, and then just, well, that fits there, fits perfectly. But like I say, don't always happen first time. So then all you do is just keep coming backwards and forwards with sandpaper until you happy and it fits nice and flush with the keel. So all we've got to do with this one is just pin it and glue it like we've done before. Okay, so once you've glued and pinned that last plank in, that's the last full plank that we're going to work on to the stern. So all we really need to do now is just put this keel plate in and then just install the little steel plank. So hopefully, if all your planks have fitted really nice, when you get this last piece, it should just fit really snug in between them 2 planks either side of the keel. So all we need to do with this one is just put a slight chamfer on, and then we can knock it home and cut it to length. Just like we've done before, just using a little sanding block, slightly angle it around about 5 degrees and just put a chamfer on each side. Offer it up, it should fit in really nice. Just wants probably a little bit more just there. And that just fits in really nice. A little tap home, that'll be perfect. So what I'm going to do is just mark it. And then just cut that one to length. Just because it doesn't really need to be over accurate, just cut it with these little side cutters. And then just hammer home a couple of tacks. Okay, so now you can see pretty much all the full planks are all in place. So all we need to do now is just fit some steel planks. So these are just like little wedges that fit in pretty much every single one of these little grooves. Like I say, if you're adventurous and you're quite used to shipbuilding, you could put a steel plank directly onto the full length that we fitted. But like I say, as long as you get these nice joints and you get a nice tight fit, I actually think it's easy just to fit them in after. Okay, so the steel plank's just a little wedge shape plank, but it's also been cut with a 45 degrees angle on. I'm actually going to make a little standalone video just about steel planks that then people can use on every any ship. It doesn't have to be obviously the Prince Eugen that we're working on, which these pretty much steel planks will fit actually any ship that you're building, because it's pretty much always the same construction. So hopefully what we do, if you get it nice, it should be able to, the 45 degree angle should be able to fit under the 45 degree angle of the planks we fitted before, and then it should just slot into that little groove, which it does. So what I'm going to do now is just fill it with some glue. You can plenty on, just wipe it off after. Slide him under, push him down with your finger, and then just take your hand out. and then just hammer him on. And any of the excess glue that's weeping out, just damp, not saturated, just wipe that away. Okay, so that's one steel plank fitted. There's quite a few to be done, but the principle is exactly the same in every single one that you fill up. Okay, so once you've added all the steel planks into the stern section, all we have left to do then is just pretty much add 2 more full planks right to the bow, and then we've got to do the same again. We've got to add steel planks into this construction, but we'll do that in the next video.